All right, there we go. We're recording. All right, welcome everybody. My name is Jacob Goldberg. I got my partner Gavin Smart in the back end, and I got my good friend and colleague Rico Rashid in the Zoom meeting. He is an artist manager for a couple of really well-known legacy artists. He works with Busy Bone from Bone Thugs and Harmony, as well as Alex Marley from the Bob Marley estate and Exotic from the Tupac Shakur estate. So we got a lot of real OG hip hop artists that are under his belt. Rico, thank you for your time today. I really appreciate you coming on to the interview.
Hey, thank you. And I'm in Los Angeles, so it's good morning here, and good afternoon to the people in South Florida and in the state of Florida.
Perfect, perfect. All right, so let's get right into it. So you are an artist manager. How long have you been working in this position?
I've been an artist manager 10 plus years,
Mhm.
um, working with various artists that were unknown and helping them get established in the music industry.
Okay. All right, cool, cool. So could you rattle off some names that you've worked with upon your roster?
I worked with the first young lady I ever worked with was a young lady by the name of Nina Snare. She's an R&B soul singer.
Mhm.
Got her, worked with her for about a year and a half, got her a production deal, moved on from her. I started working with a young lady by the name of J Cass, Latin singer, R&B singer, and she happened to end up being the wife of Busy Bone.
Oh, wow.
And yes, and then later I started working with, then I started working with Busy Bone from Bone Thugs and Harmony after establishing that relationship with J Cass. And then I picked up Exotic, that's the goddaughter of Tupac Shakur. She's from the Bronx, New York. Picked
Mhm.
her up. She was trying to find some reliable and established management that she wanted to get under from under another company that was not doing a great job. So I ended up picking her up. And then I ended up working with some other guys off and on that are not serious about the music industry. So I had to cut them loose. And then I recently I picked up Alex Marley. That
Mhm.
is the actual cousin of Bob Marley, and he's part of the Bob Marley family.
Okay,
So yes,
that's what's up. That's what's up. A lot of respect for a lot of those artists within that roster. I know we got a couple of real OG hip hop names within there, and
and
the Bob
and I
Marley.
would like to say also, I still work with a lot of other hip hop artists I don't name because I don't actually work with them on an every. These are people that I actually work with on a daily basis. But there are other hip hop people that I work with as well in the industry. I just don't name them because I might do something for them that's not my daily task. But I'm fully involved in the hip hop music community.
So, what got you interested in managing all these artists in the first place?
I saw a lot of artists was getting taken advantage of. Some of these artists did not understand the music industry, and it just became natural to me to be a person, a liaison between whether it's a booking agency, the record labels, publishing companies for these artists. So it just seemed like something that came natural to me, man. It's like I'm good with people. I'm good at negotiating and reading contracts, and I'm just a person that likes the music scenery. I love the music industry, and I love just the whole environment about the music industry. I just do well at it. So that's what got me very intrigued and kept me committed to this industry.
Okay. I like what you said in regard to grounding it as well in your pre-existing affinity to the music industry. You know, managing artists, I would imagine it requires a lot of commitment and a lot of passion, given that you're working with individuals on a daily basis with, you know, a wide variety of different scenarios that come up where you're the liaison between the real world and said artist, right?
Yes, absolutely. Dealing in this industry, especially being a manager, you're everything now. The industry has changed so much. Technology has came in and took
Mhm.
over the industry as well. So a manager job is everything now. A manager could be doing all kind of stuff now, man. So it's like the manager has to try to get the artist sync deals, which trying to get their songs onto movies and soundtracks and commercials and gaming. The gaming industry is trying to get the music out there. Just dealing with all kind of aspects of the industry. And as a manager, you're the go-between person that the artist, like, for example, someone can say, hey, I don't like the music. I don't like her style. I don't like that. That's what you're the manager's there for, to hear the negativity. You don't want the artist to hear all the negativity because that hurts their creativity. That kind of discourages them that they're not doing something right. My job is to be a coach, is to uplift the artist, to cheer the artist on and say, hey, this is the direction we're going to go. So I try to keep the negativity stuff away from the artist, the stuff that I hear from the people that don't that may not have issues with the artist, their music or their writing style or some of their lyrics, you know?
No, 100%, 100%. I think it's real important, especially given that, you know, not just within the modern day music industry state, but also as a whole. A lot of musicians, they put their heart and soul into the craft that they share with the world. So it's sometimes I can imagine it feels like walking on eggshells. And then other times, you know, it gets to a point where it's like, hey, you got to hear this, you got to hear that. This matters in regard to getting more listeners to your music. This matters in getting more booking agents onto your case. And then on the whole flip side, like you said, being a coach, just reminding them they're doing a great job and letting them know what buttons they're pushing the right way.
Absolutely. So the main thing is letting the artists know that you're there for them, because sometimes it could be a babysitting job. They'll call you 3, 4 in the morning, like, hey, I got an issue. And what's the issue? Thinking it's relating to music. It's not relating to music. It might be something personal. So you have to be up to that task as a manager to deal with the artist on a 24/7 basis. Like, hey, whatever the artist is going through, you have to be there for that artist, you know? So it's not an easy job. People think, oh, just being a manager is easy. No, there's daily tasks going with being a manager, not only just the music part of it, but the personal side of it as well. And the artist has to be able to trust you. You're a person that the artists really rely on as far as making sure that you're taking care of their business, you know? So it's a lot of things that go into being a manager, dealing with artists, especially when you're dealing with known artists as well.
Right. So what do you look for artists to potentially manage?
Trees in front of the doors so that they know to come in.
Apologies for that one. What do you potentially look for an artist that you manage, Rico?
Okay, I look for artists that's committed to their craft. I don't have time for people that's not serious. I get a lot of people reach out to me, whether it's different channels, through different people, through LinkedIn, through different other sources. They're looking for a manager. Okay, first thing I want to see, what is your work ethic? I need to know what your work ethic is, man. If you don't have a strong work ethic, I don't want to mess with you, because this is a lot of work and a lot of managers get paid by commission base, you know? So I need to know, I got to like the music first. I got to be committed. See, I'm going to be committed to this person for the next 3 to 4 to 5 years,
Right.
you know, because it's time involved. It's a lot of time involved being a manager. Artists just don't break like that. It takes years to break into the industry. So I have to make sure that artist is very committed about their craft. Plus, I got to make sure I like the music. I got to see if the music can go anywhere. I got to think about how I'm going to push this artist. All these different things go into that when I'm looking at an artist who I'm going to manage. So I have to make sure I like the artist first. We have a good relationship, and we're bonding. Yeah, we got to make sure we're bonding.
Just making sure that the business chemistry is there.
Yeah, the chemistry is there, man. I mean, you know, sometimes the chemistry might be a little off, but you say, okay, we can still work this deal. You know, it's still doable. You know,
right. And on a side note, definitely big shout out to LinkedIn. I know that's how you and I had first connected in the first place. Rosen, the School of Hospitality that all of us attend, they're really big on LinkedIn. So I'm real grateful for not only that education on that platform, but also its ability to allow us to establish a business relationship.
Yeah, LinkedIn is very, very powerful, man. I made a lot of business connections, and I made some connections I don't even want to talk about. So, but LinkedIn is a very good tool. Just got to be very careful. You got to screen people, make sure they're who they say they are. I actually got an artist from there, Exotic. I got a few other artists from there, some who are no longer with me anymore. But LinkedIn is good, man. It is good. I'm on LinkedIn every day.
So out of everybody who shows interest in working with your artists, how many, let's say out of 10 individuals, how many of those 10 would you say actually follow through and end up putting the money down or putting the emails and the proposals in and actually end up working with your artists?
I say anywhere from three to four, bro. Everybody's not serious. And when it comes to the money, people get scarce with the money, or they might not feel if artist is worth this amount of money, and they don't want to pay the artist that amount of money. You get about 3 people that's very serious. That's about being business. They about submitting the contracts. They about the details and all that, man. But everybody else is flaky, bro. A lot of people in this industry, that when it comes down to the money part of it, they get really, really scarce about how they're going to spend the money, bro. And some people, and I'm going to be straight, and I hope and nobody take offense to this. Some people don't even deserve to be in this music industry, bro. Just by my experience in doing business, some people don't even deserve to be in it. So I have a dedicated, committed people that I can rely on, that I know I can get deals done with.
Right. No, 100%. So of that included, I guess that's definitely a real big intangible obstacle that you encounter within the industry. But would you care to elaborate a little bit more on some other intangible obstacles and challenges that you encounter throughout your day-to-day work life?
You get a lot of cold emails. You get people that they waste your time. You get people that contact you and say they're ready to do business. For example, if they want to do a collab with an artist, I break down to them what the artist is looking for. What do you want? I ask them, what are you actually looking for, in this collaboration with the artist? Are you ready now? No, I'm not ready now, but I will be ready in 2 months. Okay. When 2 months, give me a call back then, but I break down the structure, what the artist is looking for when you want to do a collab. Also, you have other people that actually want to book the artist, but then they can't get it booked, They're wasting your time. Then you got other people that are so-called wannabe promoters. They're trying to actually use the artist like an imagery to promote the ticket sales. No, you cannot use the artist like an imagery to promote the ticket sales. You got to have your money up front. You got to have a deposit up front to pay the artist, and then the artist will give up their like an imagery so that you can promote it, and the artist will do a drop. And a drop is when the artist gets on his social or her social media and say, I will be at such and such a place at such and such a date, to give the promoter the opportunity to promote the show and to let their fans know, hey, I will be in such and such a city at such and such a date. That's what's called a drop.
100%. I've actually also spent a couple of years in the industry as well, within the event production space. And if there's one thing that I've definitely learned as it relates to what you're saying, the promoter has definitely got to be or the event production manager, whoever's responsible for selling tickets, they got to be able to meet 50-50 with the artist in their ability to sell the tickets in the first place. It can't just be one guy or one girl that's spearheading all of the ticket sales, where you get the ticket sales going crazy, and then headlining act ends up having half the crowd leave, and then vice versa. You get the headlining act that comes in, and there's like some weird business that goes on in the back end with the promoters, depending on artists to sell all the tickets.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So a lot of these people need to be prepared, and even some of the people that are not prepared, and I see they're very sincere, I give them a one-on-one how to do business in the music industry. I give them that. I say, listen, do not present yourself to another manager or booking agent or anyone who's dealing with the artist if you're not prepared. This is what you need to do to make sure you're prepared. Find out what the artist rate is. Find out what the artist rate is first, because that's very important. Find out what the rate is. Once you find out what the rate is, okay, do I have enough money to give the artist their deposit up front? That's the main thing. Get the artist their deposit up front. Once you get that and you got the contract signed, now you can move on to the promotion of the show. But you got to get the artist locked in first.
100%.
Because that's the person that's going to drive the ticket sales up. Yep. So I give people actual one-on-one on how to get that done, and how to present yourself when you're trying to book an artist.
Okay. So what kind of certifications, if any, do you need to be an artist manager in the music industry?
I mean, some people go to college, some people go to USC, some people go to the Berkeley School to get their, if they're not strong, if they're not people person, they want to learn more about the music industry. Some people go to those schools to learn more about the music industry. You can go to your own university and learn about music, publishing, music booking. You can learn those things. But if you're not a people's person, do not get in the music industry. You have to be a people's person. If you feel that you can't take criticism, if you can't be a hustler and know how to go out there and hustle and work with people, don't get in the music industry. This is not for you. Maybe you could be a person that can type up something or be a clerk or something like that. Or maybe you can just learn as the years go on and you'll get stronger. You'll get stronger in the music industry. But a lot of people shouldn't be in this business. And I'm just going to be very frank. A lot of people shouldn't be in this business because they're not strong enough. They don't know how to deal with people. They don't know how to deal with criticism. And they don't know how to work in an environment that's fast paced. This is a fast paced industry and you'll be left behind if you can't catch up, So that'll be my key to anyone that wants to get into this industry. You have to be a strong-minded person. You have to be a people's person. Remember that. A people's person. You have to know how to deal with all peoples of all walks of life.
100%, 100%. And I do definitely agree with you. I think it's important to keep in mind that being that this is a people industry, you got to have thick skin because, not everybody's going to be so nice. Not everybody's going to see eye to eye with the way that you do business. I myself have had a couple of people that have, completely just teed up on me because they didn't see business a certain way. I even had a couple of artists try to extort me for certain amounts of money that, they thought that they were owed for a performance. And, I'm still here. I don't mean to toot my own horn like that, but I'm just, saying it as a testament to your sentiment. It's a very, very cutthroat industry, and it doesn't matter how well you know how to start a fire. If you've never started the fire before, then, you're already at an innate disadvantage to the people that might not have the education, but have been in the field doing it for X amount of years. And the people that have been doing it with X amount of grit and, those people that are able to withstand a pressure cooker.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're absolutely right, man. People will extort you. You will have actual people try not to pay the artists the rest of their money once they get to the show. And you got to know how to deal with that. First of all, when the artists get to the venue, you make sure you got the money already. You make sure you got the remaining balance for the artist before the artist gets on stage. Point blank. You got to or the artist is not performing. So yeah, you have people that try to run off with the money. A lot of things happen, but you, as a manager, you have to be on top of it. Not the artist, not the artist entourage, not the artist personal assistant. You, the manager. You have to be on top of every detail of what's going on, especially when you're doing a venue, doing a concert, and you got to collect the remaining of balance.
100%. Back ends before performance, 100% of the time.
Definitely, you got to get the back ends, and you got to make sure everything is there. And you got to make sure that the venue is ready to perform. The sound is ready to go.
100%. And go ahead.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's another thing that a lot of people don't understand. It's a lot of details that goes into this. You have to be there before the artist gets there. You have to make sure you got a sound check. You got to make sure you have the system is working properly for the artist. Just think about the artist get on stage and the sound just go crap.
Side note, there's a book that a classmate of mine, Salvador Perez, he recommended me, and it's a real good read, The Sound Reinforcement Handbook. And it's a real crucial read to individuals who want to learn how to sound in terms of the technicalities and in terms of the actual inner workings of the sound go. And there's things that I never would have known right out the gate. Like, for example, the different inputs for microphones and for mid-level inputs and then high-level inputs. You can't plug in a speaker to a microphone input and then you're going to clip your entire system.
Yes.
Or, there's always that one dude in the back that's like, play more music louder, play more music louder when they get into the stage. And then by the time the headliner's on, you're going to need a new cable because it got completely fried out by that individual. So definitely agree with the sentiment of what you're saying in regard to making sure that the little teeny tiny bits, whether that be the sound, whether that be the hospitality rider in the green room, whether that be making sure that the artist gets escorted with security from the transport to the stage and back, and everything in between. It's a lot of people out there that forget that it's a business at the end of the day, and you got to make sure that all the loose ends are tied up pretty tight.
You're absolutely right, man. You hit it right on the nail, man. You make sure that you talk to whoever the venue manager is or whoever's operating the show that night, and make sure that the artist has security going into the green room. You make sure you have a list of people who's going into the green room, because sometimes you got people sneaking back there. The worst thing you want, man, is somebody to attack your artist or have somebody back there that just doesn't supposed to be in the green room. So it's a lot of things go into it that I have to look at, and I have to double check everything to make sure everything goes smooth. Does it always go smoothly? No, but you try to get 80% as smooth as possible.
100%. A story that the sentiment reminds me of what you're saying, making sure that the artist is secure. I know you're based in LA, so I don't know if you had heard about this instance. Draco the Ruler, he was a real prominent rapper out there, and security wasn't on point for a festival, and unfortunately he was assaulted to where he had succumbed to his injuries at that point. So it's a real it's a real it's a type of industry where one little crack on the floor can result in like a Death Star Wars type situation going on. So definitely real important to ensure the security of all the artists and all the staff involved. So
well, I know Drake. I want to talk about that. I know we got to move on for time's sakes, but Draco, I know of Draco. I know people that knew of Draco, and Exotic was supposed to do my artist Exotic was supposed to meet with Draco. We was going to hopefully do a song, but now that could never happen. But the first thing when I see something like that happens, I say, who is his management? I'm not letting my artist go into an environment like that, man. I got to be prepared. I have to be prepared for whatever's going to happen, especially for artists like Draco, who's out there on social media. He's stirring up a lot of stuff, and he's stirring up stuff in the streets. You got to make sure that guy's secure.
100%. It's crazy. Live Nation, from what I understand, I could be wrong, or I could be reading outdated news, but I remember reading that Live Nation there, they got sued in regard for it. So just, a little bit of current events or semi-current events that I think relates to the sentiment of what you're saying. Real important to make sure that all the loose ends are tied up. So Rico, we are getting to the tail end of our interview. So I wanted to ask you one last question just before we close off the interview. And that question would be, what advice do you have for all individuals in not only this Zoom meeting, but also individuals there on out, for those who want to get into the artist management game? And what is your best advice on all your pointers that you think are the most important for them to follow?
Good part, man. It's the good part of it, man. I know I've said some other things that people might not like to hear, but hey, this is the good part. Listen, stay committed to whatever you're doing. Stay committed to it. Don't give up. This industry is very tough. I encourage more people to get into music management, artist management. A lot of artists need that representation. There's a lot of good artists out there in the industry that they're getting overlooked due to TikTok and all this other stuff that's going on. That's not real music. We have artists that actually have real music. Stick with those artists. If you go to a club or a pub, you hear somebody that sings great, hey, ask them, can I work with you? Ask them whatever you can do to help that person, because a lot of artists are looking for representation. So you can start right there. Just if you at a club or anywhere, like I said, a pub, you see an artist performing, and you ask the artist, anybody, you have a manager, anybody working with you? How can I work with you? That's a start. That's a start right there. Find an artist that you can work with, whether it's a friend or just somewhere you just meet on the streets, and see, can you work with that artist, and start working with artists from that. If you feel that artist has great music, because it all starts about you feeling great about that artist. You got to see something in that artist. You got to feel something about the artist before you even want to work with that artist. Because why would you want to work with an artist that you don't feel great about? So if you feel your ears and your sense of hearing music is good, trust that judgment. Trust that judgment. Don't listen to the naysayers. There's going to be people say, "Oh man, the music industry, blah 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 blah." Do not listen to them. If you feel motivated, go do it. Don't stop. And it's going to be difficult times, but keep going, keep going. It's like a marathon, like Nipsey Hussle said. The marathon doesn't stop, man. You just keep going, going, and going. The marathon continues. So I'll tell anybody, anyone that's listening right now, get into the music industry. Artist management is a great career. It's a great career. You can make a great living from being an artist management once that artist becomes big or not even big. You got to I forgot to talk about the international aspects of it. Getting your artists in the London market, getting your artists in the German market, getting your artists in the Japan market. Even Indonesia is booming with music right now. Getting your artists in the Australia market. Even getting your artists in the African market is booming right now. So it don't have to just be United States. There's a global market right now. That's what I wanted to say. The industry is big. There's a global market right now. When you feel that you're not getting anything done in the United States, don't worry about it. You'll find somebody in Africa. You'll find somebody in London. You'll find somebody in Japan. You'll find somebody in the European market. Just stay at it. That's my words of encouragement to anybody that wants to get into the music industry. And another word I have, stay enthusiastic.
Yes.
Stay enthusiastic.
100%.
Remember that. Stay enthusiastic.
100%.
And I end on that note.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your time today, Rico. I really greatly appreciate you agreeing to do the interview, and it was a pleasure to talk to you.
It's a pleasure to talk to you as well, Mr. Goldberg. I wish you doing well, and I wish your classmates as well do well as well.
Thank you very, very much. You have a wonderful rest of your day in sunny Los Angeles, Mr. Rashid.
I'm about to go enjoy right now. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.